When you are driving, there are lots of times when your path will cross with someone else on the road. When this happens, one or more of the people involved have to give way so they don't crash. To give way means that you must slow down and stop if necessary so that you don't collide with another car. If you have stopped, you have to stay stationary until it is safe for you to move on. First of all, let's have a look at giving way to pedestrians. Pedestrians are just people who are walking on or around roads, or they might be using skateboards, rollerblades, or wheelchairs. There are lots of situations where you need to give way to pedestrians. At pedestrian crossings, you must give way to pedestrians on the crossing. Once the pedestrian is safely out of your way, you may drive over the crossing. At a children's crossing, you must approach it carefully. Stop if there is anyone on the crossing, even if there is no crossing supervisor there. At children's crossings, you must not drive on until all pedestrians have left the crossing. At an intersection, if you are turning right or left, you should give way to any pedestrians who are crossing the road you're turning into. If you are going in or out of a driveway, you must give way to pedestrians on the footpath, path, or nature strip. You also need to give way to pedestrians when you're making a U-turn, or driving in a slip lane, or in a shared zone. At tram stops, you need to be very careful because pedestrians may be getting on or off the tram. When you approach a stopped tram, you must stop at the rear, that is, the back of the tram, and give way to any pedestrians crossing between the tram and the side of the road. You are not allowed to drive on until the tram has closed its doors. Remember, pedestrians can run onto the road trying to catch a tram, so be extra careful and look out for them. Now, let's look at giving way to vehicles at intersections. When there's a stop or give way sign or line painted on the road, it's pretty straightforward. You have to give way to any vehicle in, entering, or approaching the intersection. There are a few cases here where you don't have to give way though, even at a stop or a give way sign. You don't have to give way to vehicles doing U-turns or ones turning left using a slip lane. And you don't need to give way to vehicles turning right that are also facing a stop or a give way sign. These are a few exceptions, but mostly, when you're facing a stop or a give way sign, you have to give way to all other vehicles. But what about when there are no signs or painted lines on the road at an intersection? The basic rule is that you must always give way to any vehicle on your right. So here, the red car B must give way to blue car A on the right. Here again, red vehicle B must give way to the blue car A on the right. It doesn't matter if the other vehicle is going straight ahead or turning, you must give way if they're on your right. There's an extra thing to remember if you are turning right at an intersection. In this situation, you have to give way to any oncoming vehicles going straight ahead or turning left, except at a slip lane, as well as still giving way to any vehicles on your right. So, in these diagrams, the red car B must give way to the oncoming blue car A that's going straight ahead or turning left. There's a give way rule especially for T intersections. If you're in the road that ends, you must give way to any vehicles or pedestrians in the road that is continuing. So, in all of these diagrams, red vehicle B must give way to blue vehicle A as well as pedestrians crossing the road. If you're turning right from the continuing road into the road that ends, like in this diagram, you must give way to any oncoming vehicles. Some T intersections look a bit funny, like this one where the continuing road is going around a corner. The road that ends is marked with a painted give way line. So, in this situation, red vehicle B must still give way to blue vehicle A. Now, what about roundabouts? A roundabout is an intersection with a roundabout sign at each entrance and an island in the centre. There might be one or more lanes of traffic going around the roundabout in the same direction. You always keep to the left of the island in the middle. When you are entering a roundabout, you must give way to any vehicles already in the roundabout. You also have to give way to any trams entering or approaching the roundabout. Make sure you look carefully for motorcyclists and cyclists in the roundabout. They can be harder to see. If you are crossing over a divided road like this one, where there is a median strip separating vehicles travelling in opposite directions, a stop or give way sign applies for the whole intersection. If you are turning from a divided road, you obey the signs on the road you are turning from, unless there is a sign telling you otherwise. You must give way to traffic when you are entering a road from a break in the median strip. There are a few more situations you need to give way. If you are making a U-turn, you must give way to all other vehicles and pedestrians. When entering a road from a driveway, you must give way to all vehicles and pedestrians as well. If your car has been parked, you must give way to all traffic when you are entering the road. If you want to change lanes, you must give way to any vehicles already in the lane you are moving into. Don't forget to do a head check to see anything that might be in your blind spot. If you're on a road where there are 2 rows of traffic, but the 2 rows have to merge into 1 row, you must give way to any vehicle which has any part of its vehicle ahead of yours. This is called zip merging. It's only zip merging when there are no lines marking the lanes on the road. If you have to cross over a line on the road to merge, you are actually changing lanes and you need to give way as usual. So, those are the rules for giving way. Remember though, drivers and pedestrians can make mistakes about who should give way. Make eye contact with other drivers to see what they're doing and drive carefully.